overheard someone among you asking me what my name was and said, dude. So did I hear someone say dude? All right, my name is Dude, and today I would like to let you know what you will expect. I'll be telling you my story and the reason why I started Soap International. Just beware that at some time when I'm speaking to you, I may be a little bit serious or sometime a little bit relaxed. So just bear with me. So who among you remember when you were a 5-year-old? Just by show of hand, do you remember anything unique and special with your interaction with your family? Does anyone? Just one thing that changed your life.
When I was 5 years old, I moved from Japan to America, and my teacher asked my mom to stop speaking Japanese in the home. It was a very big cultural change for me because my mom speaking English.
Great. Thank you so much. I think my goal today, I just want you to know that what I would hope to achieve out of this today is for you to understand why I started Soap International, and hopefully my story will inspire you. So you will expect 3 parts here. One was the exodus, leaving my home country. Second is when I finally arrived at a refugee camp called Kakuma, and then here in the United States, and what I'm doing to give back. So excuse me. So you guys know about the Lost Boys of Sudan, right? Okay, I'm one of them. So basically, when this started, I was a 5-year-old kid. I just had no clue what was going on political-wise. Just like any other kid, I just play, come home, bug my mom and my dad to give me something to eat. I mean, who won't do that? By show of hand. So, just to give you a background of what happened, there was a religious influence to what happened in my home country that really led to the civil war. Second was resources, natural resources like oil, access to the Nile water. Those were major things that led to the political instability, and actually finally led to the civil war in the country. So by then, what I do remember is my mom and my dad were really hardworking people. My dad would take me with him after, heading cattle. Sometimes probably hundreds of cattle sometime. As he asked me to go with him, I was just amazed to see these big animals. I have no clue, what they were. But later on, I begin to learn what that meant, being a big part of their lifestyle. And sometime I remember my mom would take me with her to the garden. She had 2 gardens. Sometimes she would be taking me during the day and she is working so hard, sweating too much. And then I would pretend to get a piece of stick, kind of imitating what she's doing. Then she would just look back and smile, give me this big smile. To be really sure, I'll never forget that. I think that is one of the very important things that I remembered, and how much she works. And then those were the most happiest time for me. And I was just a 5-year-old kid. All of a sudden, the war broke out, and the place that was attacked was my home village. So when we were attacked, I was just sleeping, you know. I was woken by a big booming sound of a gun. To me, I think what woke me up was something shook me. So like, have you ever felt the impact of earthquake? So a sound with that woke me up. So what I had to do was just wake up and run. I had to know that I have to run because I'm seeing other people running and people screaming. So in my mind, I'm like, what is really going on? It's just fear, a lot of fear, people crying and really falling down as if they will wake up, but they were killed right there. And so I had to just run, and I find myself joining other boys running away too, with few girls as well. Some people were caught sleeping. Some people had to just run to the closest and hide. And because they were running after us, I had to just run with them. This was a group of almost 27,000 boys and girls. How did we know where we were heading to? If you were in that situation, how will you know where you're heading to? You don't have to answer that question. I mean, you're hearing the sound of a gun behind you. You have to just run to where it is safer, right? You will agree with me with that, right? Yeah. Good. So I had to just run with them, and I was the youngest among the group. Like the youngest. I can barely walk by myself long distance or even run. So as we really escaped the scene of the attack, and it was getting darker, we began to hide during the day and night. We walked during the night because it was much safer to just go quietly. And we were many boys, walking, seeking safety. On the way, I remembered I didn't have shoes, not even clothes. All I cared about, what was in my mind, is how do I escape this? Am I going to make it? Luckily, I found myself not hearing those sounds of a gun for some hours, and I felt like, okay, I'm going to make it. How would you feel if you are in that situation? Do you have to just keep up, or do you have to just keep running? As I was running, I felt my feet was burning. When I looked down, I can see my foot bleeding, and I didn't even feel it. I had the big pressure to run away and escape. And I wasn't alone. All of the other boys too. They were in the same situation. And so when we arrived in Ethiopia, it was barely almost 2 to 3 months. It took us two to 3 months, trekking 600 miles. On the way, major challenges that we faced and went through were no water, leave alone food. I mean, just major need was water and just to be safe, to get to the right place, Just get to the right place. We arrived in Ethiopia. We were lucky to get some help to a place in a displaced camp where we stayed there for about 4 to almost 5 years. And I actually remember the first time I had to learn my to say English word. We were visited by U.S. representative, and we're told, that when they come, they teach us this song, "Welcome, welcome, U.S. representative," and we just were laughing. It was the coolest thing, It was the coolest thing. And then political situation changed abruptly in Ethiopia. And so we had to run away again. We were attacked within by the Ethiopian government. The government that was in power was overthrown. New government came up. And for some reason, that new government had ties with the same Sudanese government that displaces us in the first place. And so many of us were killed. About half of the population were killed. And as we exit the country, we were really faced by having to cross a river. That river doesn't used to carry too much water, but this time it was. And so as we came, you had to just run. There was no coordination at all. You were just running for your life. So as we came through a river, I didn't know how to swim. Those who were lucky to swim made it across safely, and I just had to stand there, I had no clue what to do, but having to decide what would be a better way to die. I mean, it's just in front of you, and you hear them coming, shooting people at the back and the head. And a friend came by and said, "What are you doing here? They're coming. Get into the water so fast." And I heard everything he said. And the same thing, other boys were screaming too, jumping into the water. I'm still thinking on how to escape this. I didn't know how to swim, but finally was helped by one of the other boys to cross, but that person was killed. As all of us jumped into the water, some of them were shot in the head. If you were not lucky enough to think of really jumping so deep and try your best to really swim under the water, then those didn't make it. So, few of us that made it to cross the river were later ambushed by the Sudanese government, bombarded in the air, attacked on the ground. So we had to just run so fast to Kenya through a place called Logishogu. It's a bordering town between South Sudan and Kenya. So when we arrived in Logishogu, it was a little bit peaceful. We felt like we've finally come to a safe place now. So we were taken to a refugee camp called Kakuma in 1991 and 92. Then there was a new refugee camp started in Kenya. And that refugee camp, when I went back in 2012, I found it's like a big city now. About 110 refugees in that place. 110 refugees, 1,000 refugees there. You can imagine, living in Kakuma was like living in prison to me. I mean, life was much better, because you don't have to fear of someone coming to shoot you. It felt like you've really move away from that, So as we stayed in Kakuma, the best thing they did was introducing education. They were teaching us under the tree. We didn't have pen and pencil, so we had to use our hands to write things on the ground. If you don't remember and fail the class, you get punished and caned for it. I mean, how do I feel about it? And how would you feel about it? If you were to punish to learn. Anyone has a quick thought about that? That's okay. You don't have to answer that. And so they had to punish me to learn English, to learn math. And I'm just coming from a total situation where I cannot really link this. I cannot link math. I cannot really associate math with something else. So I have to learn from scratch, kind of just have to accept these strange ideas that I have no clue where they're coming from, you know. But in it, I discovered all around me, you know. I discovered a new place, and I discovered there are different countries, different people around the globe. And because in the camp, UN did not have enough resources, water, food, we would be getting very limited food that we had to eat once a day, just once a day. And then you go to class, sometimes you go without food. So you find yourself lacking energy to focus. And so it would make sense that they can punish us to focus, you know. So, okay.
With that, you asked earlier about like how that makes you feel.
Right.
I don't know about how you felt or the situation, but I mean, learning all this from scratch, did that cause some of the people, some of the boys, to be resentful of education? I mean, it's like education goes hand in hand with being whipped. I mean. Yeah.
Good idea. Thank you. Some of us developed that, but where did you have to go? The life around outside is even much difficult than that. So you had to just choose a new path that is going to help you look beyond Kakuma. So to me, what I would feel doing was, as I stayed in the camp, we eat once a day. Sometimes it gets really difficult, and I had to just think of new ways to deal with it. And I had to go to a library. I used to like studying geography. It was my best subject. I used to do very well in it, because through it I discovered new places, new countries, and it was a temporary escape. Thinking of difficult challenges of Kakuma, and almost staying there for almost 15 years, almost my teenage years. It was not that easy. I felt really stuck. I don't know how you'd feel if you had to be put into that place and you cannot leave. You can only eat once a day, and that's it. You cannot work. You're not even allowed to work, and there are no job opportunities. So to me, I would be thinking, okay, what is really better? Is it really going back to my country, or this? It was so difficult. And so I had to develop my own ideology to deal with it. I used to say that even though it is difficult today, I know tomorrow will never be the same. And guess what I did? I tell myself that thing like almost 10 times a day. And I never give up. Even if tomorrow come and go, I didn't lose focus to that. So luckily, there was a program started by the UNHCR. UNHCR is United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees, with US State Department started this program. Because a lot of us were really giving up in life. They were just committing suicide themselves, killing themselves. They introduced this program to find us a new home. And when I heard about it, what came into my mind is that tomorrow is finally coming. Those few days before the interview, to be honest, I didn't sleep much. I was just waiting for the interview. And when I went into the interview and did it, waiting was so difficult. Waiting for the result was difficult. And when I finally realized I got the chance to come here, I was so happy. One thing, it is a chance to move out of this prison, this camp, a chance to look for a better life, a chance to get new hope, find a new home. And so when it was time to come here, I was just thinking of how we were going to come here. They're going to put us into cars and drive us to America? how are they going to do that? And then a friend told me you will be put into a plane. I'm like, a plane? What is it? He began to describe that to me, one of my fellow lost boys. And when he finished his thought, I said, wait, is this like a bird, flying? But I'm like, but how does it stay up there without falling? And then when the final days came, I felt like, oh my goodness. I kind of felt sick to my stomach, This is something I've never experienced in my life. And I'm just like, I'm not going to die. I'm not going to die, I'll make it. And so we came to Utah, and almost at night, and what I saw when our plane landed was these big lights all over when I looked at the window. It tells me something. It tells me how I'm going to run to really get out of this darkness. Not just darkness, because there are lights during there's no lights, during the night. When it is night, it's so dark, You have to just go to sleep, And a new opportunity, a new hope, a new tomorrow, what I've been dreaming for so many years, has finally come. I just came to America, And before I left Kakuma, one of my colleagues that we used to go to school together told me, when you go to America, can you help me? And I said, how will I help you? I don't even know where I'm going, what chances, opportunities will be ahead of me. And so I said yes. So when I came, challenges that I had to face was snow. My biggest challenge was snow. They used to say, there is snow and it is as white as snow, But the reality came. And to me, I was just amazed. And I was freezing, almost freezing to death. And they were giving these as jackets that we had to put on. I had to wear like almost 4 layers of different jackets, to just get used to those few moments. But I was really beginning to see, and we were brought here by the IRC, International Rescue Committee. They are the agency that brought me here, and we had to learn how to, find a bus, how to read different things, how to talk to different people, But luckily, that punishment in the camp really pays off, because I didn't have to struggle to talk to Americans. I didn't have to struggle at all. I was so lucky then, so I kind of appreciate what they did finally. And so here we are in America. I mean, you are coming to a totally new place. You have no idea of the culture, the people. You don't even know what makes people happy or unhappy. You don't know what you will do to make somebody upset, You had to just learn, watch how people act and, speak and do different things. And so I finally made a decision to go to school. So I went to Salt Lake Community College. And I just started taking my computer classes and was finally done, like in 2012, getting my associate degree. But still, I remembered the promise. So I began taking on 3 jobs, just to support myself and also to sponsor my colleague back in Kakuma. And he shows really dedication to not waste any of that coin on anything else but his school. And finally, he was able to graduate in 2012. So I went back into Uganda, Kampala. That's where he graduated. You might see him later on. That is him in the middle there. That is during his graduation. So I went to really participate through his graduation. He told me that, I owe you too much. And I told him no. You don't owe me anything. And he said, I don't believe you. He's like, I don't care what you're talking about. And I told him, I was blessed to have the chance and you did not. So it was my time to help you. And maybe you will one day when you get your opportunities help another person. And so in 2009 we had a reunion conference for all the Lost Boys. We had to go to California and we met there, and we had really great questions. Some of our American friends were asking, what are you doing to give back? How are people back doing? How has your life changed? How are you doing? So to me, I was thinking, now that I have Malak in school, I just need to figure out how to help more people than that. Not just because I want to help, it's because I'm seeing myself through Malak now. As the joy and the gratitude he felt when he graduated was like myself. And so he said, how would this make sense if you don't even have your own degree? And I said, don't even worry about it. But he said, no, you have to. That's the reason why I need to get my bachelor degree done now. And so I started this nonprofit organization to begin giving these kids opportunity. The reason behind this is through it, I'm going to look to change all of what happened, turning it into something good. My past is past, my story, what I went through. Through it, just giving back. Have you ever had someone that did something good to you? Anyone? Don't even say anything, but think about it. And what have you done? What have you done about that? So I started creating this charity, and my goal behind it is not just giving them education. I mean, education is one tool in life to really empower people. And through that development, you can really bring someone to a position where they are capable to cope up with the challenges of life. So to me, I'm thinking, what if I was given this chance? Maybe I'm still in the camp now. If I were given this chance, how would I feel? How will it change my life? How will it change my life? And so, we are all human beings and we go through much on a daily basis. So I thought, instead of fighting with my past, my story, I need to embrace it and move on. Through it, I'm moving on through this charity, this nonprofit organization. Number one, to empower and create a solution that will give them a chance to really believe again, to really have chance in life that they would never had in their life. And when they do that, they can one day pay it forward, helping other people. And that will be a replication effect, helping people in the areas they lived in. So I thought I needed to develop a 360 approach. What I mean with that is a lot of organizations out there are doing great things. The reason why I believe that, I made it. Some of them, I am a beneficiary myself. And so it would make sense that I should do this. It's not only is it going to heal me, but it's also going to give me a purpose in life. Having to see so much, having to escape so many death attempts, I felt like I need to figure out a way to develop a program that would really give solutions, a permanent solution to poverty, to those kids that I left behind, back in the camp. And they cannot get out of it. And so the way I looked at it, and to really make us different from other organizations, is I have the experience of being there, and I wanted to make sure it's not just like a bandit solution where you like, let's say, does anyone like cake? Who doesn't? I'll be surprised if there is one person saying I don't like a cake. So if you know how to make a cake and you want to help someone with a cake, you can just give a tiny piece to each and every person. But does that really help? What if they tend to like it and they need more of it, but they don't know how to make it? What are they going to do? They'll come back to you. So I felt like investment in them to learn, to really discover calling, their purpose in life would be number one for me. So putting them through education and mentoring them in the process. Through mentorship, we would encourage them to think of programs they want to do when they are out of school. And so we were lucky that we've already had one graduate and he's really thinking creatively. I'm not telling him what he's doing, but he's already showing those. So my main goal for SOAP is to create many opportunities, but but this model is not really common a lot. People believe in helping so many people at once, but I really felt like sometimes it may not be. And I'll tell you a story. When I first came to here, my friends took me to McDonald's, and guess what they picked for me? Big Mac. Think about someone who has never had enough food and trying to eat that for the first time. So I had to eat that. And at the end, I felt like throwing up. But it's the same thing with trying to address major challenges around us. Sometimes you don't have to just do it too much at once. You have to take it slow. That's why we have a single-minded approach to want to help one person at a time, but investing in them to a point where they have a strong foundation. Just giving them a piece of a pie or cake is not enough. It just worsens that situation altogether, making them to rely on you forever. I really think education is a major solution. Through it, I developed hope that I would never had myself. And so I wanted to let you know really what we do now. Right now, I'm really thinking day and night to think of major goals we need to accomplish. I'm thinking of a better sustainable model. That's what I'm going through right now. I am excited about it, and sometime I would wake up dreaming about it. Any one of you has ever felt like waking up in the middle of the night just because of an idea? It means it's something you really care about. And so SOAP is like the reason why life would mean something to me, Otherwise, I wouldn't really cherish life in any way, because I was helped to be here today. It's my turn to give back. It's my turn to give back. What about you? I know there are so many people that have really stood by you since the very beginning. How does that make you feel? And what are you doing about it? And so regarding SOAP International, we are currently looking for people. We're looking for business-minded people, entrepreneurial-minded people, because that's me. That's what I want to do, because I want to invite you guys to come and create with me. Create a better solution to refugees, to refugee problems. I have a feeling that there are better ways out there to really address major issues to poverty in refugee places. You can become a refugee just because of either natural disasters, you are displaced by your own government, or you're being discriminated or almost being persecuted, just either by your race, your belief, your ideology. You find those people going to refugee camps, but solution doesn't come quick in their home country, so they had to go to another place, like myself. So here is my home. I call Utah my home. Do you too? Good. So I know I have really said so much right now, but I'm trying to see, just to give you time to ask questions, but I see SOAP in 5 years or 10 years from now, sponsoring hundreds of refugee kids, not just in Africa, maybe in India, anywhere where education can give someone hope, where education can become their mom, their dad's, their future, their life. I want to say thank you so much for allowing me to be here today and to just share my story with you. I do really hope that you were inspired in some ways and that you've taken something out of it. That is what will make me happy when I leave later on, So, I don't know what Shauna plans to do. Okay. It stands for exactly, and I do get asked a lot about that. SOAP stands for Student Orphan Aid Program. It's S for student, O for orphans, A for aid, P for program. That's what it stands for. So feel free to ask any question.
I don't know if you mentioned this earlier here, but so this is a student aid program.
Right.
I understand that you're donating money or time or resources to helping people learn, right. Orphans learn in different countries. How are you getting the funds to do that? Is this just a donation thing? You present your case and you collect donations from investors and sympathizers, or is it like you have a business where you draw in money? I don't understand that.
That's a good question, and I haven't actually gone into that deeply. Basically, I have been presenting, and I have spoken to many friends. Through it, a lot of how we get known by so many people was through word of mouth. I go to work, and I go to school. So I take this time to really meet different people. A lot of them were really inspired by the model and wanted to be part of it. So they have been individually donating money into the program on a constant basis. I have also presented to corporations already, like Vivint. Vivint was really gracious enough to support us recently to secure 12 funding for 12 kids, like 4-year scholarship right for them. And so, as much as I really work harder, I want to go out and talk to different people, meet them, really introduce the idea to them, and if they believed in it, if they want to be part of this process, to really give underprivileged kids around the world who are refugees, who are disadvantaged by either natural resources or political situation in these countries, they come in and join. Since when I started, we haven't been doing a lot because I'm just competing between going to school, going to work, and SOAP. We've been sponsoring few kids now. Right now we have one of them just finishing high school. He may have a chance to go to Canada. just because he did so well in his final exam, and he's learned a lot. So I want to give kids like him. His name is Deng, and he's actually here. When I asked him what he wants to do, he said he wants to do petroleum engineering, and he wants to come to America to do that, and then he can go back to his country and help contribute there. So you can see the kind of people I'm trying to help. We help them, they give back, and help contribute positively to their community. I hope I have answered your question.
So I'm just wondering about the sustainability of the model, because it seems like really nonprofit focused, and you're over here being a student and working, and
exactly.
So it's like,
exactly.
How are you not? I mean, okay, you had a very exciting life, so you're used to a lot of work.
Yes, I'm used to.
Yeah, but just from my perspective, it seems like a lot. So how do you keep yourself from running down? You know?
I mean, it's just this burning call within me. You know, in life, if you know where you want to go, it doesn't really matter what it takes away from you. You just have to go at it. And so I had to work to pay my rent, to really buy gas, get food on the table, all of those. And I also need to do this because I think through it I can discover unconditional happiness from it, unconditional purpose.
Do the students that you sponsor, when they finish the program, do they give back to SOAP, or do they work with you?
That is what I haven't disclosed yet, and that's why I'm inviting people like you guys to join me and see that. We have a. Okay, I can draw something really quick. Don't focus on my handwriting. It's terrible. So what happened is, let's say we get money, and that money will get into the scholarship fund. Let's say, aid money. This will pay the school for the kids. When they are done out of school, they're likely to get a job. Through the program, we have an agreement with them to give back. So there's going to be like a satellite program for them to reach out within their community and help other people, and also give back into the same fund. And so you have those students here in the middle. So it's not like a situation where you loan something out to person and they pay it back. We give this scholarship to them, and they take the responsibility to help another person and also give back into the program. So we do have this culture that we've developed between them, relationship between us and them, that we both are committed to. We're trying to create a community, of people who've never had a chance, and they are now part of the solution. And so let's say I'm going to help like 27,000, for example. We focus on investing on their education, because it is very important. You cannot expect somebody to think of something much better when they know nothing. You cannot expect somebody to do miracles without certain kind of education. That's why we have a very strong focus on that school first. But through our mentorship, they will discover what their calling is, and we plan to give them startup fund to launch those. Maybe it's a business. Maybe it's a community project. We will stand with them and help them get started. And through it, one of those is successful, they can help many others. They become role models in their own countries and be part of the solution. And then they give back into the same program. Hopefully you have a little bit picture about it. I just kind of want to give a rough idea about what it is.
That makes sense. For them, they work hard, presumably, to better themselves, and then they become part of the cycle to, better everyone else around them as well.
Right. Right.
No wonder
Right.
that people let them on.
Right. Thank you. Well, I think the first student, Malak, I paid his school out of my pocket. I think it has cost me almost 6,000. But it differs with schools that you go to and the value of the dollar, Dollar can be really high sometimes, it can fall, So that makes it really hard to know how much, number you can attach to, one person, Thank you so much, everyone.